welcome to another episode of Divorce TV. I have a live interview this week with Jane Parslow, who is a transitions coach, so we'll be finding all about that quite soon. But first, we're going to look at the news. And we're going to start with, I've just got two stories today, because the second one is particularly important for us in the UK. The first one, perhaps less important, but quite interesting. The Mirror reporting on Ewan McGregor. Do you remember him from Trainspotting? He's settled his divorce after his daughter, I don't think there's really a connection here, but only it's just the way the Mirror report it. After his daughter says that his girlfriend is a piece of trash, quote. Ewan McGregor has settled his divorce from Mavrakis after 22 years of marriage. But his eldest daughter is not a big fan of his new girlfriend, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You can see she's the one on the bottom there in the picture. What have you done to make things easier? This is my question to you for new partners. So it's very sad when children, including adult children, get really upset about the new partners, but it's also quite understandable. And I do think that sometimes we as parents, particularly with the older children, expect them to just sort of get on with it and mind their own business. But it is very, very tough for them. So if you've got any comments about that, successes that you've had in that area, or even disasters, feel free to share them. I've got actually a shared story later on where we're going to hear from a father who I think does a wonderful story about integration, a blended family integration, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you. Last story of today is no-fault divorce backed by MPs. Right, this is the latest in what's happening in the UK, and it is big news. So the bill introducing no-fault divorce in England and Wales has been backed by MPs. Well, in fact, it was backed already to an extent. Then it went off to the House of Lords, and now it's come back to the House of Commons, and it's passed its first hurdle in the Commons by 231 votes to 16 against, following a debate. So currently, in order to start divorce proceedings immediately in the UK, one spouse has to allege adultery, unreasonable behaviour or desertion. Basically, they have to assert blame. So under the proposed law, they'll only have to state that the marriage has broken down irretrievably, which will just makes things start off a little bit better if you're not having to throw blame at each other. In a letter to the Telegraph, MPs including Sir Desmond Swayne, Sir John Hayes and Fiona Bruce urged the government to focus on helping couples reconcile instead of undermining the commitment of marriage, which is apparently what's happening by taking blame out of the divorce process, according to them. They said that the bill was badly timed, arguing that many otherwise durable marriages were under intense COVID-related strain. Well, they definitely are, but I personally do not see how us blaming each other at the beginning of the divorce, finding fault, has anything to do with reducing the number of people getting divorced. The Divorce, Dissolution and Separation Bill, which has been passed by the House of Lords, also removes the possibility of contesting the decision to divorce. So this is particularly important. So it's very rare that someone says, no, I'm not going to divorce you, and then you normally would have to wait 5 years to of being separate before you don't need them to agree. So they're going to get rid of that, which is also a very good idea, because 5 years where you're tied to them financially isn't a great situation to be in. Divorce proceedings will still be challengeable on certain grounds, including fraud and coercion. Currently, fewer than 2% of divorce cases are contested. The bill also introduces a new option allowing couples to jointly apply for a divorce, where the decision to separate is a mutual one. It replaces the terms decree nisi and decree absolute with conditional order, and instead of decree nisi, they're going to call it a conditional order. So you've got a little bit of rewording to learn here, so that I don't know why they've changed it. Maybe they just think it is simplifying it, and they are trying to make the whole process less complicated. Under the proposals, there must be a minimum 6-month period between the lodging of a petition to the divorce being made final. Now that might sound a long time to some of you, but to be honest, the courts are so overburdened. That was before COVID, that I don't think it's going to make much difference. You'd be lucky to get it through in 6 months anyway. As the bill has only just passed through the Commons, it's not yet known exactly when it could be made into law. So we still don't know. It's heading in the right direction, but we still don't actually know when you won't have to find blame in order to get divorce. But it's looking good. It's looking good. So now we come to our interview. I'm going to be talking in a moment to Jane Parslow, who is a transitions coach. So make yourself comfortable and get ready for an interesting chat. Hello, Jane. Welcome.
Hello, it's lovely to be here.
Thank you. And to start with, what on earth is a transitions coach?
Well, I guess most coaching, nearly all coaching, I think, is about change. I talk about transitions as being slightly bigger life changes. So divorce would be a big example of that. Um, Retirement, changing career, all those things which shake up your identity.
And what made you come into that area of work? Why particularly transitions coaching?
Well, my background is project management, so in a corporate environment. But increasingly over the years, really, I got much more interested in the people side of that and how people deal with change. And then when I did some training in that area, oh gosh, 10, 15 years ago, that led me into coaching really as helping people deal with their individual personal change.
And what would, if someone was to think, well, do I need coaching? Well, how would they know if they need it at all? If it was, especially in a divorce scenario?
Um, Generally, I talk about people being stuck. So if people talk a lot about making some sort of change in their life but don't then do anything about it, coaching is a great impetus for that, if you like, because it would be looking at the obstacles to change, what motivation is needed, whether you've got a clear enough goal. In the divorce situation, I think there's several places where coaching can be useful. First of all, I think in terms of looking at the longer term, it's very easy to get really bogged down in the detail of the process, the emotions, worry about the future. And I like to help people kind of step back from that a bit and look further ahead, so that there's some sort of hope that they're going to come out the other side, that the divorce will become a distant memory eventually. But they need to be really clear about the life they're heading for, I think, to have some sort of optimism about that. And coaching is also a great way of getting some clarity and structuring that thinking about your future. So it can be really useful before you go to mediation, for example, or before you have detailed conversations with your lawyer about what you want. It's clear for you to, it helps for you to be clear about that so you can clearly instruct them as to your issues.
Because basically, if you're psychologically, emotionally all over the place and you're frightened, you're not going to make much sense, and you're probably not going to make the best decisions, are you? One of the ways I often encourage people to use coaching is to look beyond the divorce, because they don't. They're totally stuck on that in the initial process and don't have a vision for their future, which is an exciting thing to have, even though it can seem a bit daunting for them at the time. So what are the real outcomes for people who work with a coach through divorce? What kind of differences will they find that someone who perhaps doesn't bother?
Well, I think, as you said, that the emotional turmoil is an interesting aspect. So a lot of people just really value having some time, an hour at a time, just to sit back and reflect on what's happening, have an opportunity to talk through some of the things that are happening. And I think it helps to have someone who isn't your friend at that point. I don't mean that I'm friendly, but our friends kind of take our side and join us sometimes in all that turmoil. Whereas a coach's job is to sit back from that and give you some objective feedback and help guide you out of all those emotions. So coaching is very much a conversation. I would hear what you're saying, feedback about some of the patterns I'm noticing, some of the emotions that are coming through, and help you kind of get that a bit more organized in your mind so that the emotions inform what you're doing and the actions you're going to take, but they don't take over. So I think people like that time to reflect, and just have a different perspective. So I usually invite people in coaching, just to look at it from a different point of view. As I've said, step back or step into the shoes of the other person, step into their future sometimes. And as I say, get that different perspective. And so look at the thing from 360 degrees rather than trying to see one single path through the process.
And stop banging their heads against a brick wall, find ways, different ways of
Yes.
dealing. There's a QR code which you can't see, but everyone else here can. So I just want people to know that if they hold their phone up to that on camera, a little web page, a little Calendly link should appear, shouldn't it? If you can tell them what will happen next.
Well, that will take them to my calendar where they can book an appointment for an introductory session. It will show up as an hour. It's usually about 45 minutes, but I like to allow a bit of extra time. And what that does is let people get to know me a bit more, and also for me to get to know a bit more about their situation. And we would discuss in that conversation whether coaching would be the right way to go, what coaching could achieve for them, and a little bit about how we would work.
So for no obligation, they can spend some time with you and find out more. I really do encourage people to look at coaching. It's just to briefly, what are sort of the main differences between coaching and counselling to help people understand? How would I know which one I needed?
I think coaching is very forward looking. So one of the conditions I would put on working with someone is that they actually want to change and are ready to change, and have some idea of what that change is. If when I was working with somebody, I found that they continued to stay stuck and were wanting to go back to the past a lot, or there was something much deeper, maybe from their past, that needed clearing out of the way before they can move forward, that's when I would actually suggest counselling or psychotherapy. And I do know other people that I can refer on to. If people are thinking about it now, I would say just call me and we'll have a chat and just see where you are right now and on what form of help we can do.
I suppose in a way it's like if the past is getting in your way, then counselling can be a good way to unpack that. But for many people in divorce, it's a fear of the future that is often blocking them, and that's where coaching takes them into the future. But perhaps usually fair. I imagine with you it'd be quite gentle, that they would do it step by step.
I hope so. Yes. And I think that's an important point about change, really, is that in order to go somewhere new, we do have to leave behind some aspects of the past, and that can feel really scary sometimes to step out into a new life. And that's where coaching can really help. Is it's supportive. It's also, as I say, got a degree of accountability, a gentle sort of nudge to keep moving forward with things. And if something doesn't work, to come back and reflect on that, but with a view to tweaking the plan a little bit and continuing to move forward with things.
So all of you out there, if you've got, there's certain things that you need to be doing and you're just not quite getting round to it, working with a coach is a great way to help you get things done. Thank you so much, Jane. Very lovely to have you on the show, and I look forward to having you here again in a later date. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So that's a lovely Jane Parslow. You had the QR code on the rerun. You can always see that again if you didn't quite manage to get your phone out in time. So now we're moving on to the learning section. Our lesson always takes me by surprise, those noises. The lesson content today is I'm going to do this in two parts because it's a good chunk. This again, it's from the Divorce Masterclass, Divorce Discovery Voyage. The QR code there, the nice pretty red one, will take you there, and you can still keeping that initial section open for free for anybody who wants to access it. Particularly useful for people at the early stages, or they're checking out how it's all going to work for them. So we're going to talk about divorce first aid again. This is the sticky tape and scissors part. And in this part one, we're going to look at things like the right tools that you need, the price of ignorance and harm to the children. And we will be going on perhaps next week more into parental conflict and what you can do to help reduce that. P.J. O'Rourke once stated, "Children must be considered in divorce, considered valuable pawns in the nasty legal and financial contest that is about to ensue." That's a bit of a grim quote, but unfortunately that is what often can happen. Half of all American children will witness the breakup of a parent's marriage. Of these, close to half will also see the breakup of a parent's second marriage. It's estimated that 1 in 3 children in the UK will experience parental separation before the age of 16. In 2009, the number of UK children affected by divorce was estimated at 100,000. 40% of children growing up in America today are being raised without their fathers, and in the UK, 1 million children are growing up without a father in their lives. Compared to children from homes disrupted by death, children from divorced homes have more psychological problems. Children of divorce are at a greater risk to experience injury, asthma, headaches and speech defects than children whose parents have remained married. These are statistics that are hard to hear for those of us in families where the parents don't live in the same home. But knowing there are millions of deaths and injuries due to car accidents doesn't stop us driving cars. And we don't want to stop people getting married just in case they end up joining the divorce statistics. But we do need to look at basic safety measures, our sticky tape and band-aid if you like, to have the tools to guide people away from being on the wrong side of those statistics when it comes to harm to their children. Bandages are of less use without the scissors and tape to cut and secure them in properly so they can do a better job. And so in the same way, people going through divorce can lack basic information that can make a huge difference to how they navigate the process. Added to that, they may not be thinking straight. They become focused on the wrong things, like getting back at their ex. They just don't seem to have the tools, the information to help them put the children first. Back in 2009, there's a study I mentioned, I think before, by Mishcon Derea, a study that showed parents are willing to drag their children into the divorce process, even when they acknowledge that the result is harmful to the children. In almost a quarter of cases, one parent forced their child to lie to the other parent. So what can we do to help protect children, our own or those of our friends or families or work colleagues, when we see that they're being caught up in the divorce? In a way, it's quite simple, because you can encourage those parents to stay out of court and not to use the children as weapons. Too often we stay silent about these things. But surely there must be a strange assumption, and I've talked about this in the past, I talked about it in my TEDx, that what we see as normal, a lot of people think that an angry adversarial divorce is normal, and that's not a good starting point, is it? So in a survey commissioned by the Family Law Association resolution in August back in 2012, 45% of respondents thought that most divorces involve a visit to court. They just assumed that was it. And 40% agreed with the statement that divorces can never be without conflict. They just straight away assume that that's the way it's going to be. Yet the vast majority did agree that children's interests should come first. A long-term study has shown that children whose parents divorced through the courts, compared to those parents who were randomly chosen in a study to use mediation, that those children of the adversarial divorce process were significantly less likely to be in regular contact with both parents post-divorce. Other studies confirm that children who are exposed to more intense conflict between parents are more likely to suffer harm resulting from their parents' divorce. The lower the level of conflict between the parents, the more likely those children will be to emerge emotionally whole. Now, what I'm saying here is common sense, you would think, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't seem to be the way people think. So it's great that you're listening to this now, and please carry this message forwards. Make sure you don't need statistics to tell you that children don't need parents being in conflict and that it does harm. and the more of us that can support parents that in that situation positively, the better. We'll talk a little bit more about this next week. But now we're going to move on to a lovely shared story. Right, this is a shared story. Bless him, Richard came round to do some work in my house, and as with anybody who tells me a great story, the next thing he knew I was recording it. So sit back and listen to this, I think, very special story.
The key for me was that my daughter didn't grow up in a household where she had a stepdad. I had a stepdad. He wasn't the greatest guy, I'm not going to lie about that, but I just didn't want her to have the same type of environment. So when she sits down and she's having a conversation with her friends, she goes, "Oh, I did this with Dad," or "I did that with Dad," and then "I did this with Dad," and then they're going, What Dad? What? So my dad's picking me up, but that's not your dad. No, that's my dad. No, but he's my dad as well. And they didn't get it, but for her, completely normal. And in the end, they thought, oh, okay. So they didn't think anything of it either, because she never had an issue with it. Basically, I separated from her mum when my daughter was 2.5, and we separated because we just agreed it was the best thing to do. So we sorted all ourselves out and everything. So it was really amicable, we didn't have an issue. My daughter went to live obviously with her mum, it's the most sensible thing. We shared custody. So we had a really good sort of like relationship going forward with my daughter, because my daughter was the bit that was important. When obviously my ex then met her now husband, she had a choice of two actually. I think we used to laugh about it because they were both called Steve. But it was quite funny, and we had that type of relationship that we could talk openly about stuff and whatever, which was great. My ex-wife was aware that I had a stepdad and I didn't have the greatest relationship growing up, because he was fine with me until my brother came along, and then we all got treated completely separately, differently, different rules, different allowances, different everything. So naturally I kicked back about that. So when it got to the situation I found myself in, I either take the viewpoint that I do something and take a little bit on the chin myself in the hopes that that's going to, and it's a gamble, in the hopes that it's going to make my daughter's life, which was the only concern I really had, but it meant that she grew up in an environment that was free of any animosity one way or the other, and that was the key. So the conversation I had with my ex when she was picking which one she was going to go with was, I said that, you know, once it had all been decided that that's where she was going, and they moved in together and that was all fine. I think my daughter was probably, I don't know, about 3.5 by then. But because also I shared custody with my ex-wife, so I had my time. And I just made the most of my time with my daughter. So she grew up knowing me and my character. She grew up knowing them and their character. And when I spoke to my ex-wife about it, I said, look, the one thing I just can't do is, you know, if she goes around calling him stepdad, my stepdad this, it'd irritate me if she was telling me that. But I don't want to call him Steve either, because that's just disrespectful. The guy's actually going to be paying your bills, he's bringing you up, he's feeding you. You know, it's her decision to marry him now or whatever. I have to just respect that she actually knows what she's doing, and trust it a little bit. So I said, you know, I actually been thinking about this. I don't think Kirsten should call Steve a stepdad, because he's not going to be a stepdad. He's going to be living there. She's living with him. I think she's called him dad. I said to the ex-wife, I said, look, you know, you're in a relationship with Steve. It's obviously a long-term relationship. I don't want Kirsten calling him a stepdad, because he's not going to be a stepdad. He's going to be there probably even more than I am at some points of our life. But also, more importantly, I want him to treat her as his daughter, not somebody else's daughter, because that just changes, not so much from her perspective, although I think it does, from his perspective, because he always feels like he's second best, or there's somebody else that he's trying to compete with, which he's not. He's done a great job. She's a great girl. We all get on absolutely fine. That works for me because it's what's in her best interest. And she said, well, if you're happy with that, that's fine. The conversations are interesting when she talks to her friends about what she's doing with her dad. They go, well, which dad? Oh, my dad. You know, and when she has a conversation with me, I said, yeah, I was out with mum and dad at the weekend. And that's how I'm fine with that. Because actually she's completely balanced. She loves us both probably differently, but equally. You know, we both brought her up in her own ways. And yeah, that's, you know, for me, it's a hard pill to take because somebody else is going to be bringing up a child. But I felt by giving him permission to be a dad actually meant that he didn't feel he had to do anything and he didn't have to kick back about it, or so actually he was just normal. And obviously I'd helped vet him anyway for the missus, so it was fine. I got invited to the wedding as well, but I said, look, I can go to the wedding, you've been married, I've been married, he hasn't been married, thanks for the invite, but I'm going to let him have his day. And although he was quite happy for me to go, he was probably quite happy that I wasn't there as well. So, you know, it's just having a bit of respect in it, really, I think. And if you can do that, then you win. And I think I did in the end. So.
Story. If you have, it doesn't have to be a happy ending story, but a story that's useful for people to hear, and for me that's so powerful, particularly about what we were just talking about earlier, this idea that divorce has to be difficult and that's just natural. It isn't natural, it isn't normal, but it does take a certain amount of courage and evolved behaviour to change that. So if you want to share your story, you can contact me. I can record you through Skype, or you're welcome to video yourself and send it in. I'm always looking to collect powerful stories to share with others, and what might seem a simple little story to you could have a real benefit to others to see it. But please don't interview people and then send something in and not tell them that it's going to be broadcast all over the internet. So do send me your full permission as well if you do send something in. Now, before I give our quick roundup of goodies with QR codes, I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for all of those who have commented and done the thumbs up. It's lovely to see. If you ever want me to say thank you to you or respond to you by name, then you need to put your name on it. For some reason, it just gives me mostly Facebook user, so I don't know who you are, which is such a shame. So if you put your name next time, that would be great. However, there was one person, Bob Eckhart, who has put it, his name does come up, and Bob says something interesting. He says the best way to avoid divorce is to marry the right person. So I would like to invite you, Bob, to share with us at some point, maybe we can see it in your comments later, how you do that, and if you've managed to do it, what was your trick, because I'm sure we'd all love to know. Now let's move forwards now to the roundup. Get your phones at the ready. We've got some great QR codes. Before then, I did a little interview today with some of the team for the Divorce Financial Workshop that we're running in the UK this coming week on Thursday. We do have a couple of spaces left, so grab the QR code after this to look at that. But I just said to them, what's this going to be about? And they shared a few thoughts. So let's just have a look at this. The Divorce Financial Workshop that we've created is interactive.
They're going to learn things they've never known before.
Relaxing, friendly.
The thing that we love is obviously connecting with people, so we're helping people on their journey to sort of moving on positively.
They're going to understand new ways of doing things.
You're going to get key information that you need sitting at home through the computer.
They're going to realise it doesn't need to be acrimonious. It could be the best thing they've done.
I think it's really good to get any information that's available to you and to see what it all involves, because the more information you've got, the better informed you are to make decisions.
That's the benefit in these workshops, is that we actually get to speak with lots of people going through this extremely difficult time in their lives. And if they can gain some sort of help through us speaking for sort of an hour and a half and deal with any queries and concerns that they have, then that's hugely beneficial.
It's not that scary, it can be okay. And just really to understand how it works and what you can expect.
So come and join us on the Divorce Financial Workshop. We have some brilliant specialists there, focused on dispute resolution, keeping you out of court, saving you thousands and thousands of pounds, and taking the fear of the finances out of the divorce process. And we're recording it and putting it in a special safe place for those of you who perhaps get interrupted by the children or life, and we want to make sure that you get the full value out of this workshop. I look forward to welcoming you at our Divorce Financial Workshop. Code. If you grab that now, we do have a few spaces. We're not going to do too many spaces because it's very interactive and we want people to be able to join in and ask questions. Right, next one coming up. If you're not already a member of the Best Way to Divorce Facebook group, definitely come and join us. We'd love to have you with us. And I'm now going to introduce our healing section. So get yourself calm and ready. We're going to be doing a grounding and also some EFT tapping. My guest wasn't able to be here live, so it's pre-recorded. So sit down and enjoy.
Thank you for having me. My name is Lauren Rosenberg and I'm a fear and phobia relief expert, and I help children and adults with their emotional state, getting rid of their fears, so that fear of flying, fear of lift, anything that comes up that disrupts the mental state. I will help restoring the calm and the peace in their mind. I'm also the author of a book called How to Move Forward When the Unthinkable Happens. My book. This is my personal story of losing my oldest daughter at the age of 20 suddenly. I'm not hiding the fact it's a sad story. So the first part is my personal story, and the second part is how all the technique that I know as an energist, as an expert in releasing fear, helped me and helped my family and my children to move forward and to carry on still being happy and feeling calm and having still a life that they want to reach. This is why I wrote the book, is to tell everyone out there that there is a way, even when anything happens out of the blue, unthinkable, as bad and as dark as it is, there is a way that you can actually move forward. I always tell everyone, there's always a switch that you can turn the light on. At the darkest place, just remember there's always a switch and you're in control and you can turn that switch on. But obviously, if you have the tools and if you know how to turn that switch on, it helps. And this is what helped my family and myself. And this is what pushed me to share all the techniques that I use in my clinic, in my book. I would like today to share 2 ways of helping you. The first one that I find is really important is to ground yourself. So I would like to for you to experience a grounding session. It's only a few minutes. So if you can just relax and sit back, and if you can put your feet on the floor, so whatever floor you have, if it's wood, if it's just tiles, carpet, just be aware of it and just feel it with your feet. And then I would like you to give yourself permission to see some roots coming out of your feet. And those roots are going into the floor, into the ground, and right down into the earth. And those roots are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And they're growing and they're growing. And they're so long that they can go all the way around the planet Earth. And they're covering the whole planet Earth. And they're taking the strength of the planet Earth. They're taking all the energy of the planet Earth. And then they're going anti-clockwise and they're going back, taking all that strength, all the Earth energy, and see those roots going back into the ground, into your feet, going up into your ankles, going up into your knees. Allow those roots to go up into upper body and allow those roots to settle into your heart. Notice those roots settling into your heart, and at the same time, see the sun shining above your head. a nice bright sun, and give yourself permission to allow the sun to go into your mind, going down into your eyes, into your face, going down into your throat, and allow the sun to connect into your heart, connecting with the roots and the sun. Allow the earth and the sun to connect into your heart, allowing you to feel very much more connected, very much more balanced, having all the warmth from the sunshine and all the grounding from the earth. And notice what I feel like. You may feel a little bit of your legs a little bit heavier if you never experienced any grounding. And just take a minute and just notice that feeling of feeling very much connected, very much important, having that sunshine into your heart and that grounding. And just whenever you're ready, you can take a deep breath and then you can open your eyes. So when we've never done any grounding, sometimes we can feel a little bit of heavy legs. Don't worry, it will go very quickly. Okay, but grounding is a very important exercise, because if you're not steady, if you're not grounded, it's like a tree with no roots. So how do you expect to manage to deal with everything at day to day, the stress, the emotion, the up and down, changes in life, having to move to different places? It will be even more difficult. It will be overwhelmed. You may not even sleep at night. So grounding is a really important way to help you to feel ready for the day, to feel more balanced, to feel more grounded. Like a tree, the roots are so important, and that help the tree to be steady and to get and to you know, to be growing, and so it's really important not to forget the grounding. Starting a session with a grounding can make a big difference in the session. If I find sometimes some people don't, you can muscle test the grounding. You can test if somebody is grounded or not. But it's always good to still do it, just to make sure that the session is used to the fully. It's a bit like a boat with an anchor. We want to make sure that there's an anchor so you can be ready, and whatever you have to deal with, you have the tools to be able to face it. So you're actually feeling more, you're feeling stronger. Another way that you can actually help yourself is a practical tool which is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And you can use it at any time, because we always have our fingers with us. And our fingers, like I said to children when I run the children class, our fingers are magical, and they're always with us. And whenever you feel upset or angry, you can use your fingers, and I'm going to show you the pressure points, where they are, and how we can use it in order to restore your calm, in order to restore your peace. And then you can even put happiness and whatever feeling you want to feel more of. So the way to do it is, imagine a scale -10 to +10, and measure how much calm you have right now. So obviously, if it's in the minus, it will take longer to get to the plus. But it doesn't matter, whatever it is. If it's -6, just write it down on a piece of paper. If it's 0, if it's +2. If you're not sure, you can imagine that you have a battery, and how much power would that battery have? How much calm would that battery have? If you find it hard, some people find it hard to measure it on a scale. And then ask yourself, what is it that I really need right now? So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to use calm to show you how it works. But you can use any words, any positive words, and you will ask your question. This is the situation. What do I need right now in order to be able to go through this? So let's imagine you need calm. Okay. So what you do, you put your 2 hands on your chest, and you take a deep breath through your nose. And we're going to do that 3 times. So we're doing one more time. And out. And then again, deep breath and out. And then we're just going to say the word calm, calm, calm. I choose to have more calm in my body. To have more calm in my body. Calm is safe for me to receive. I deserve calm. Calm is my friend. Calm is my best friend. And then, So what you're doing, you're actually announcing what you want to put more into your mind and in your body. And then I'm going to show you the pressure points, which is like acupuncture without needles, which is great because you don't need needles and you have your hands all the time. So the first point is the top of your head, and what you're going to say is calm, more calm, lots more calm. And then we'll go on the next point. This is right in the middle of your front head. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. And then there's a point right in the middle of your front head, between your eyes. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. So it's better if you can say the word loud, but if you're a place and you can't, just you can say it in your mind. Then the next point is right next to the eye, and you say more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. Then underneath the eye, more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. And then we go underneath the nose, more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. Then underneath the mouth, more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. And then you have your collarbone, and underneath the collarbone you have a point, and we're going to tap and we say more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. Now underneath the collarbone, there is a point where usually it's soft, but if you're under extreme pressure, that point can be quite hard and a little bit sore when you touch it. If that's the case, what you can do is rub that sore point, and as you rub it, you will feel a release, and when you tap it again, it won't hurt as much. So what you're doing is all the stress and anxiety that create a little knot and it feels tight. And that point, you can just literally rub it and it will release some of the stress. Emotions are energy in motions, and if an emotion is trapped in the body, it will create stress and anxiety or pain. So what we're doing at the moment by doing the tapping, we're releasing any energy, any emotion block in the body. So any energy that's blocked, we're going to release it now. And at the same time, we're putting what's missing. So we want to put more calm in our mind, in our body. So once you've done that, once you've checked that, we're going to tap, say, more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. And then we're going to carry on with tapping where your nail bend. We're going to tap on each finger, and we're going to say more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. Then we're going to do the next finger, more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. We're going to each finger, more calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. And then side of the end, we're going to say all the calm in the universe, all the calm in the universe. And then you take your two hands on your chest and you take a deep breath again. This is the sequence of positive tapping, positive emotion freedom technique. Now I'm just going to do it one more time in a faster way without me explaining, so just so you can experience this. So calm, calm, calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. More calm, lots more calm, so much more calm. All the calm in the world, all the calm in the universe. And then take a deep breath. Ideally do 4 or 5 rounds and then reassess it. Look at the scale, -10 to +10. How much calm do I have? If you're on minus, do it until you actually get to +6, +7. So it will take a bit of time. Once you're on the plus side, it will react faster and you will feel more calm. If you're on 0, then you need to do a few rounds and it will go higher. If you are +6 and +7, don't stop until you can actually feel even +9, +10. Don't stop yourself. And I hope that you really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to helping you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I hope you were tapping away. I certainly was. I've probably got red bits all over me. Thank you so much, Lauren Rosenberg. Lauren will be on the stream of this. She will be adding information so you can find out more. She does online classes for children as well. So I definitely think you should check her out, because there's a lot of stressed out children at the moment, especially if their siblings have gone off back to school and they can't go too. So check out Lauren, and thank you again to her for that further introduction to tapping. I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it now, and also that lovely grounding technique, which I shall be using again. Great thing about these is we can rewind them and use them again. So we come to the end now, and I hope you weren't too stressed out by the all those horrible statistics I gave you earlier. We've got a few more next week as well, but you don't change the world by putting your head in the sand and pretending things that aren't great are okay when they're not. And altogether, I believe that we can, whether it's on the battlefield of divorce or in the war or family separation, that we can all make peace our weapon of choice.